Whoosh! Top Door Morning Laddies, my name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If, or no, actually, custom card review. So, in this video, I will go over I know it's called Alicalco's archetype, but I accidentally threw in some unrelated cards into it. So let's start with the monsters, spells, then if I wanted to, I could add trap cards. So let's begin. And no, this would not be negative, like feedback stuff. So let's start with. So first of all, let's start with the monster called Seal of Alicalco's Ultimate Mirror Knight. It's a dark level 7 warrior effect monster with question mark attack and 3,000 defense. Now, its effect is this card cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summoned by tribute by basically tribute attribute dark monsters on the field. This card can attack all monsters on the field, and this card this card gains attack, or it gains equal to the targeted monster attack point times 500 higher. So, yeah. Like how in the anime of season 4 where darts used has the effect of the making its monsters its attack targets gain. So then once per turn, during your opponent's standby phase, you can select one card from your opponent's deck, and then you can activate one of these following effects. Depends on which card you chose. Spell. Send that selected card to the graveyard. A trap card. Set that selected card into your spell and trap card zone, and wait a turn to activate it. Monster. This card gains, this card gains that monster's attack until the end of your next turn. So yeah, it's basically you send send the spell card to the graveyard, set a trap card, and then if it was a monster, this card gains that monster's attack points. And now it's graveyard effect, basically. If this card is sent to the graveyard, reveal one card that mentions Alicalco's and in its text from your deck to your opponent. Special summon this monster to your field in attack mode, and place one mirror counter on it, max 5. And if this card has mirror counters on it, it cannot be destroyed by battle and unaffected by card effects. or by your opponent's card hex. And if this card gets attacked by a monster or monsters, you can remove one counter from this card, negate that attack, and the turn automatically ends. You can only use this effect for once per turn. So basically, this card has like protection. Like, just imagine like how in the anime the mirror knights protect each other from harm. Yeah, and now, yeah, so, yeah. And so, this is not official art that I picked. I drew my own version, and I did not know that I inverted it to like look so cool with an eyeball thing. So yeah, now we move on to the Fiend Squad, and the Slayers of Fiends, and some goofy stuff. Ready? So let's start with, okay, Fiend Squad, Mounter. She's a level 12, Earth. Fiend effect. If this card this card cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summoned by the effects of Magic Puzzle Box spell card. If this card is special summoned, you can select one card on the field, destroy it. If you do, then this card gains 1000 attack and defense. Like how in the anime she basically grabs like meat or anything, and she gets like stronger. So, or we don't actually see her eating basically anything, but when her power infused with Toro, the guy, that wrestler guy, yeah. Then Toro starts eating like some random stuff. So that's what I based its effect is on. So now let's move on to her brother, Moon Lord. I'm using their last name, so yes. He's a dark, level 12, spellcaster effect monster. This card, all of the certain monsters have the requirement of the spell card. So, yeah. And all other card effects are negated until this card leaves the field. If you control the moon field spell, I don't remember if there is ever a spell card called Moonfield spell. I might change it to equip card. You can shuffle the at field spell into your deck, destroy all other cards on the field, except this card. So it's referencing like how if Jackie Chan didn't interfere with his plans and yeah. So yeah. So now we move on to where is Shendu? Right here. So I always pronounce his name wrong, so yeah. Fiend Square Fire Dragon. He's a fire level 12. He's a fiend. Effect monster. This card cannot be normal summon or set. Must be special summoned by milling 12 talisman spell cards from your deck or hand to the graveyard. And if this card is special summon, you can you can select one spell card from your graveyard, activate it from your graveyard, and like it was treated as on the field. This card can attack all monsters on the field, and this card is unaffected by trap cards. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can place this card in your spell and trap card zone. And returns it or treat it as a spell card. And then add a whole 12 talisman spell cards from your graveyard or banish zone to your hand. You can only use this effect for once per turn. So yes. So you might be wondering, why does this card need 12 spell cards to be summoned? Well, in the anime, he needs like all 12 of them to like bring him out. Yeah. So now we move on to Slayers of the Fiends. And let me there's only 2 so far that I made. So we made Slayer of the Fiend's uncle. He's a light level 4 spellcaster effect monster, where if this card is normal summon, you can select one spell card from your deck or graveyard, activate that selected spell or selected card until the end of the turn. If you control a Fiend Square Flame Dragon, the one that we went over, monster on the field, shuffle 2 cards from your hand into the deck. Banish that selected monster to the banish zone. And so this card can attack all monsters on the field. Like how in the anime he uses different spells to like slay some of the monsters. Well, yeah. So, yeah. And now the other one is Slayer of the Fiend Miss Blooms. And she's an Earth level 7 monster. And her effect, or spell card, or no, she's a spellcaster tuner effect monster. So her summoning condition is if you control a Fiend Square Moon Lord monster on the field, while this card is in your hand, you can shuffle one spell card from your graveyard into the deck, special summon this card to your field, and if this card is special summon, you can banish one. So basically, you banished him to the banish zone, and you can only use this effect for once per turn. So, yeah. And now, now we're moving on to, I forgot about this one. Ultimate Lord of the Alcalcos. He's a dark level 12 dragon effect monster. If either player sends a Alcalcos card to the graveyard or banished, while this card is in your hand, you can discard this card to the graveyard, run your hand, negate it, and then you automatically win the duel, no matter what the cost is. So yeah, it's a powerful card. And yeah. And now, with that out of the way, now we're moving on to the spell cards. So, let's start with this one. Sorry. Magic Puzzle Box. This card is a continuous spell. So once per turn, you can select one Fiend Squad monster from your deck or hand to be special summoned to your field, and this card is unaffected by dark monsters effects. Once per turn, if a Fiend Squad monster or monsters gets destroyed or tributed, you can pay 1,000 life points. The selected monster gets shuffled into the deck. And if you do, draw 2 cards from the top of your deck to your hand. So like in the anime, it's been used a lot in the, to bring out like Pokong or the Moon Lord and others. So yeah, and that's why these Slayers of the Fiends are created. So yeah. Now next would be let's save this one for later. So Strong Ox is a equip spell that basically makes your it makes equipped monsters gain 1,000 attack points or attack and defense until this card leaves the field. Monkey, Changing Monkey. It's equipped spell. This card is equipped to your opponent's or equipped to a monster on the field. You can change or you can select one type of your choice. The equipped monster's type becomes that selected type until the end of the turn. Your next turn. Sheep Sleeper. This card allows so I'm speeding through this. So this card is equipped to a monster. The equipped monster gets changed to defense mode, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. And this card loses. So it's supposed to say the equipped monster loses 1,000 attack points. Inflict damage to your opponent's life points. When I word it so weird, it's just, yeah. And to the original attack points of the equipped monster. This card kit is sent to the grave. The equipped monster gains 1,000 life points instead. So then, yeah, because usually Sleep Talisman in the anime is like makes you go to sleep. That means like defense mode. And then we got the Invisible Snake, where this card is a normal spell card, and it has the effect of you can select one monster on the field to be changed to face down defense mode until the end of your next turn. The set monster cannot be targeted until the end of your next turn. So, like, if you use it on someone that's powerful, they go invisible. Yeah. So now, we're moving on to Split Tiger. And this card is actually, there's a combo with another monster. So, yeah. If this card is equipped to a monster, and it loses half of its original attack points, special summon a token that has the same stats as the equipped monster, but its attribute is always treated as a dark attribute, or dark type. If this card leaves the field, you can destroy the token after this card leaves the field. So, like, basically, if you put them back together, boom, yeah. So, Immortal Dog, it gives, like, the equipped monster affected by the opponent's card effects and cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Yeah. And then we got Horse Healing, where if it's equipped to a monster, and if a monster loses attack or defense, well, this card is equipped to that monster. Instead, of losing attack and or defense points, it gains attack and defense points. So what it means is basically, like, say your opponent had Venom Swamp on the field, and you summon, like, Elemental Hero or monster, and you activated this card, and you equip to that Elemental Hero, and it gains. So, like, during your turn, you end up gaining life points, or your monster gaining attack points instead. So now we're moving on to the Rabbit. It's a spell card that has basically makes the equipped monster is unaffected by your opponent's card effects or by your opponent's spells and trap cards effects. And if your opponent declares an attack on the field, on the equipped monster loses 500 attack, negate that attack, and the turn automatically ends. Yeah, but that much power is pretty fast. And the chicken has basically gives the user to attack all monsters on the field when it's equipped. And if it was equipped with a rabbit one, then apply additional effect of basically gaining. And then a pig one, if this card is equipped to a monster and it gains this effect to attack your opponent's life points directly. So yeah, then we got the dragon. It makes an equipped monster gain 500 attack, and also this card so basically it gives the equipped monster this effect. This card can attack all monsters on the field once or so per turn. So yeah. And then my favorite card. It's a unique spell card that is called Rat. So this spell card is... So first of all, let me dive deeper into the lore of it. So in the anime, this rat talisman allows the user to, like, bring something to life. Kind of like how Big Mom's soul fruit does, but without the to make everyone be scared type. So I wanted to include that part. So it's a equip spell. So ready? You can select one spell or trap card on the field to be special summoned to the field and treat it as a monster. And then this card, and if this card leaves the field, the special summon monster is now treated gets sent back to the spell or trap card zone in whatever position it was in. You can only use each effects of this card for once per turn. This card cannot be negated by card effects. So basically, like, I tested this card out, and I had a brilliant idea of using it on the spell card called Dark Door. Door of Darkness spell card. So then I made this Goofy Door of Darkness. And it's a level 10 monster, Beast Warrior effect monster. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned by tributing one Dark Door spell card that has equipped by the Talisman Rat spell card. Once per turn, neither player can attack more than one time per battle. This card cannot be destroyed by battle and unaffected by card effects. This card can attack your opponent's life points directly. If this card is sent to the grave or banished zone, you can activate one Dark Door spell card from your deck or graveyard or hand or banished zone to your field. Shuffle this card into the deck. If you do, draw 2 cards from your deck. You can only use each effects of this card for once per turn. So, yeah. So now we move on to the... So, I had a pretty good combo. Some random guy was dueling me, and I was using this archetype, and he summoned the Alicalco's Doggos, and so I used the Tiger spell on it, and now I brought forth the Dark Revival of Doggo. It's a light level 4 and machine effect monster. This card cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summoned by tributing one Alicalco's Doggos monster that has... Here, let me... That was equipped to Talisman Split Tigers equip spell card. And this card gains 2,000 attack points per either player's battle zones or battle phases. And this card can attack all monsters on the field. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. And it cannot be used for a tribute summon of a monster unless it was for a fiend squad monster. This card this card is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. If this card is sent to the grave or banished zone, quick effect, you can select one card that has a fiend squad in its text, add it to your hand. And if you do, shovel a talisman into your deck. From your graveyard into the deck, then special summon this card to your field in a defense mode. So yeah. So I know it's a lot to talk, but now we're moving on to the box of talismans. So it's a continuous spell. Reason why is because of all these. Plus, it's a really good searcher for them. So this card is always treated as a talisman spell card on the field. Once per turn, you can add one talisman spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Shuffle the other cards from your graveyard or banish zone into your deck. So what it means is basically you want to search out for say Split Tiger to go grab your opponent's most strongest monster, weaken them down, summon a token of the same stats, but with the darker attribute. Imagine if you use this card on a Blue Eyes Max Dragon and you summon its dark counterpart. Yeah. And yeah. So, and you, certain cards of this archetype, and yeah, so, or I normally go for the spell cards. Just imagine using a rat talisman to special summon your opponent's mirror force and treat it as a monster. That is crazy by itself, I know. And so, yeah, it's crazy. Trust me. I know that I'm trying to work on is a special story, what if story. But I don't have all the pictures, so it might take me a while for me to search up the characters. So yeah, please hit that like button and subscribe. And yeah, and type in the comments below if you ever seen Jackie Chan Adventures when you were a kid. Just type in hashtag Jackie Chan is cool. And yeah. And now it's time for me to relax. Peace.